Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the next update for my Panda face palette. This is a project that I've been doing for the last 2 years on my channel. This is the second time I'm doing it, and it's definitely been mixed success. I feel like last year I did really well with this project. I was able to finish a palette completely. And this year though, I'm moving a little bit slower, but it makes sense because first of all, the full line in the palette that I'm planning is baked, so they're that kind of gelée type of formula, so they move quite slowly. And on top of that, it is a highlighting palette, so all it is in the palette is highlighters, so obviously I can't use like too much of it. And last year I had a mixed kind of face product palette, but despite all of that, I'm really enjoying it and I am still really happy with the progress that I'm making on it. I'm going to jump into the video and share with you where I'm sitting with the palette today. I'm going to share obviously the progress videos, I'm going to share the weight and all of that kind of good stuff. So before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So the palette that I'm planning is this one right here. This is from MAC and it is the Flashing Eyes Extra Dimension Skin Finish Trio in Light. So I have of course worked on this one all year. I'm going to start by introducing or showing you the footage of what this one has been looking like over the past 4 months. It is, like I said, a highlighting palette with 3 different shades. It has like a white couple shade, a more bronzy shade, and then a pink tone type of highlight. It's less more of like a nude shade, but it has a pink reflex going into gold. So those are the 3 shades in the palette. I really have been enjoying this one. I've had different focuses throughout the year so far. I've actually used the first, like the darkest shade was the first one I focused on quite a lot because I mixed it with a different shade. But since then I have definitely moved my focus to the last shade, which you will be seeing in the progress videos. I feel like that was definitely the one that's getting a dip the most. And this is what it looked like last month. So I definitely again had a big dip in that last shade. The first shade pretty much looked untouched. I mainly had used that one as an any kind of highlight before. And then the middle shade had a little bit of wear, but nothing too extreme. And this is what the palette looks like today. So hopefully you can see some difference. I feel like the palette definitely looks more worn now, and the dip in that last shade is definitely deepening. I haven't hit pan yet, which is a little bit frustrating, but I am hoping that I'm getting close. So yeah, this is the palette right here. Of course, we'll have the comparison pictures up as well. But like I said, the dip in this shade is definitely getting deeper, and I can definitely see some wear on these 2 shades as well. I did have a goal with this palette in the past month to use each shade in here 5 times each because I wanted to be able to spread the love. But let me talk you through how many times exactly I used each shade in this palette. So the first shade in the palette is called Glitzed Out, and that is the white type of shade. So this is definitely one that I have been lacking on a little bit. In the first 3 months of the year, I only reached for this one 10 times altogether in 3 months. So I knew that I needed to step up my usage game. It is a little bit too white for me to use on my cheek on its own though. That's why I kind of been neglecting it and mainly using it as an icona highlight. But I'm not going to get very far with it if I used to use it as an icona highlight. So I wanted to find a way to reach for it. And I have definitely picked up my usage game with this one. I have reached for it 15 times in the past month, which is really great, for a total of 20 uses. And I can definitely see the wear showing on this shade now. I don't have a dip or anything yet, of course, but yeah, it's definitely looking worn, which I'm happy to see. And I have been using this one mixed with some of the other shades in this palette, and that's how I've been using it. So I have been using it on my cheeks more this past month compared to previous months. Actually, by the way, I realized I have used this one 16 times. I forgot to include the use that I have from today. So 16 uses this past month for a total of 26 in the project. The center shade is the deepest shade in the palette, and that shade is called There She Glows. And it's one that I again reached for quite a bit in the beginning of the year because I used it in combination with a different highlighter that I was panning. But I have definitely slowed down. So in the previous months, I had used this one 24 times altogether, leading up to this past month. And I have reached for it 7 additional times in the past month for a total of 31 uses. So again, getting there, but it is moving a bit slower. I think that's definitely going to be my go-to highlighter in summer and, you know, when I have a tan. I do have a tiny bit of a tan right now because I did go on holiday, so I have been using it a bit more since I got back. but I feel like I need slightly more tan than this for it to suit me. So we'll see when I get to it, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a slow mover. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to finish this one this year, same with the white one to be honest, but any use I can get out of it I am going to be happy with. And then we have the final shade in the palette, which is this kind of like, again, nude shade with a pink to gold reflex. I don't know if you can see that at all, but yeah, it has like a pink to gold slight reflex. It's not like a super strong duochrome, but it has that slight shift, which I do actually really enjoy. And like I said, this is by far my most used shade in the palette. In the first 3 months of the year, I had used this one 40 times, and I have reached for it 18 additional times in the past month for a total of 58. So yeah, again, definitely my highest used shade, and I do have that big dip in it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pan on it next month. I said the same last update, because again, since it is that Gillette kind of formula, it will be quite hard. I'm suspecting this is like baked into this on like a grid pan rather than like a metal pan. So yeah, we're just gonna have to see what it looks like. I'm staring at the pan to try and see if I can see any kind of signs of hitting pan, but I don't think so yet. So we're gonna have to see how it goes. I have no idea how big these are, how deep they are, but once I hit pan on that one, that's gonna be a good kind of sign for the other two. I guess I can compare them. It's gonna be like my baseline, I guess, for hitting pan. But for now, it is, you know, still working on it, and hopefully I can show even more progress on it next month. So yeah, I am really happy with the progress on this palette. I'm happy that I was able to use all 3 of these shades a bit more. I way surpassed my 5 use goal on all of them, and I'm happy that I got some more use out of that white shade as well. How I've been using them a couple times actually is mixing all 3, and that is what I'm doing today. I don't do it every day, but I did it today so you can see what it looks like. So what I have on my cheeks today, that is all 3 of them mixed together. So I go into this shade, and then this shade, and then I just slightly tap my brush on my hand used to like mix them together, and then I go into my cheeks, and I feel like that works quite well. But we'll see what I end up focusing on next month. I feel like every month I have different focuses. I do think I'm going to put in some goals for this palette again, but I will do that at the end. First of all, I'm going to talk through the weights. So this palette right here, at the introduction, weighed 99.90 grams, and that was basically completely brand new. I might have dipped into it once or twice, but it was, you know, almost brand new. So it also has an advertised weight of 9 grams altogether, and that is between the 3 shades. I don't know how much again is in each shade, but it has 9 grams combined. So with that, it means that I have to reach for 0.75 grams per month in order to finish those 9 grams, which, spoiler alert, I am very far behind on. But that is okay. I kind of accepted my fate that I'm not going to be able to finish all 3 of these shades. I might be able to finish 1 or 2, and that would be my like ultimate goal. But in January, I was able to reach for 0.18 grams. In February, I was able to reach for 0.10 grams, and in March, 0.25 grams. And that means that my Q1 usage for this palette was 0.53 grams. So again, definitely behind on what I need to do to finish it, but it is what it is. I'm still happy with any movement that I'm able to get on it. So that was last month, and at that point, the palette weighed 99.37 grams. And in the past month, or right now, the palette weighs 99.20 grams, which means that I was able to finish 0.17 grams, which I am happy with. Again, it's kind of on par with previous months. It's not like higher than anything. It is my second lowest month. However, it's very close to the first month, which was 0.18, and then the highest month I had was 0.25, which was last month. But yeah, that is this palette right here. Again, very behind on like if I want to finish it, but I kind of realized that this is a slow moving formula, and that is okay. Any progress again I can make on this palette, I'm going to be happy with. And I think at the end of the year, if I can finish like 1 shade, for example this shade, which is my favorite, I'm going to be happy with that. So that is my main update for this Panda face palette. The last thing is goals, and with this palette I do want to again put a goal in. I do want to up my gram usage, but I'm not going to put like a gram usage goal. That's not going to be my goal, but in order to use more, I'm going to up my 5 uses per shade to 10 uses per shade. So that is going to be my next one. I'm going to try to reach for these shades 10 times each. and just continue getting the dip deeper in all of the shades. Maybe I can hit pan on this one. I'm suspecting I will use that one way more than 10 times. But yeah, we're gonna end up to see how I do. To note as well, by the way, that I am still trying to finish up one last highlighter in my yellow product pan. I don't have too much left of that one, but I'm also splitting my time between that highlighter and these. But as soon as that one is done, I'm gonna have this one as my sole focus. But for now, yeah, 10 uses per shade is going to be my goal. And with that, you guys, I'm going to wrap up this update. I really hope you enjoyed it. A quick little disclaimer, by the way, if you haven't seen my last video, which was my year of usage product pan, I do have a different background right now. I have to move around. I'm still in the same room, but I moved kind of like, I have my window behind me, and it's like a tall, like floor to ceiling window, and then it has obviously the curtains behind it. I used to sit in that corner over there, but we are painting this room, so I moved my desk so that it's out of the way of the walls, so we could prep the walls and everything, and that's why I'm sitting here. So I don't know how long this background is going to stay, but I hope it's okay for now. But any feedback on it, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.